when it comes to the more, and I could be wrong because I don't know your entire catalog, but when it comes to the more high profile rappers or like rap artists, do they generally not take you up on interviews, or does that not happen as often?
Well, there's like a weird dynamic where all the biggest rappers, like a Drake or a Lil Baby or a Lil Uzi or a Playboi Carti, you know, they interview almost never. Maybe like once every couple of years they'll do one, you know? There's like a big value in being kind of mysterious.
Yeah, sure.
And once you're at the top of the game, you know, Kendrick Lamar just dropped a fucking album for the first time in 5 years, and I believe he didn't do an interview to accompany it, which is like he just has that power. At this point in his career, like the biggest rappers can just really take it or leave it, whereas like the younger rappers kind of need the look, they need the exposure. So it's a little bit of a weird dynamic, and especially now too, because there are so many options. If Drake wants to do an interview, he just has every option at his disposal. He could do a hip-hop look. He could do a non-hip-hop look. Yep. He could go on any fucking platform in the world and give it to him and be able to control the narrative, which is really, really important. None of these artists are down to take the risk of taking an L in an interview, you know?
Yeah.
Drake did the Rap Radar podcast with Elliot Wilson and B-Dot, and it came out on Drake's YouTube channel. Yes. It was edited by Drake's team. I mean, that's nobody's ever even considered asking me for that kind of shit.
You know, one of the big mistakes Kanye made is just that I say mistakes, but whatever's cost him is obviously an issue. Is that he took so many interviews and he's doing this stuff because he wants to speak out. But I'm pretty confident that if most rappers spoke unfiltered on enough podcasts, they would say things just as bad, if not worse, than you. I don't even believe...
I wouldn't say most rappers are really familiar with a lot of the right-wing talking points that he knows about, you know?
Yes, maybe not in regards to like the Jewish stuff or any of that, but about different topics.
True.
You know, and I think it would color their public perception completely different.
Well, and that's why you get somebody like Lil Durk. I bet Lil Durk is so much fun to talk to behind the scenes. But if you get him on a podcast, he's not going to say shit. If he had, for some reason, he trusted you enough to tell you what he thought about his enemies and why would he ever do that? Like, these guys are just smart enough to, at this point, to just clam up and not give you what you want in that regard. But look at Drake. Drake just dropped an album. There's like maybe like 10 bars that are like gossipy, like, you know, him dissing Serena Williams' husband, him making a thing about Megan Thee Stallion not getting shot, whatever. Like, these all are just like big talking points that he's allowed to like use to promote the album. Part of Kanye's problem now is that if he does another interview today, it's not going to really be that big of an appetite to hear it because he's kind of already done so many interviews in recent memory.
What, Kanye?
Yeah.
You think so?
No, I mean, it's still a big market, trust me, but it's not going to be as big as it was when the Drink Champs one came out a couple months ago because he's kind of playing himself, like the Lex Friedman one. We saw much less exploration of what he was saying on that show because he had already done the Drink Champs and everything like that. Yeah. So, but meanwhile with Drake, you don't hear shit from him for years.
Are his interviews popular?
Yeah. But he does so few that it's almost like hard to even judge. But when but then he puts out this album, I'm saying he like embeds the interview question type shit in the album, so people have to listen to the album. It makes the album seem even more popular than it would be otherwise, you know?
Okay.
But rappers always do that. They always find somebody to beef with them when their album comes out.
Yeah, I just think
the Baby had nothing to say about Meg Thee Stallion until he dropped his album 2.5 years after she got shot, and then he just mentions he was fucking her the night before she got shot.
Yeah. Here's the thing about the Baby. That's a great example. He said something on stage about like gay people, and then like lost a bunch of partnerships. Lost his access to who's that singer? Dua Lipa.
Right.
Lost a lot. Right.
A lot.
I'll put my life savings. If I asked 99% of rappers their thoughts about gay folks and they were speaking unfiltered, they would share similar views, if not just as bad.
I feel like there's a big change in the fact that a lot of rappers really fundamentally don't have anything against gay people anymore. That maybe there was a time period where that was just kind of lip service that was being paid to the gay rights movement of just like, yeah, you gay, that's cool. Like, I don't care, whatever. But now I feel like it's actually like the norm for the average rapper to not. Now, I'm not talking about people within their exact culture because for sure it's still the norm that like if somebody gets exposed as gay or whatever within like gangs, for example, it's not happening. They're out almost always. But I would say that like I really think that the rap community is getting a lot more open-minded in that regard. I don't think it's just shit they're saying on camera.
I think there's some open-mindedness to some degree. I think
but you're right. There's
once
definitely
you peel back the layers, you can ask them like, would you be fine with having a gay child?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be. Yeah.
Let's keep it. And let's be honest.
Yeah.
If you were in the public sphere as a political person, or if you were in the public sphere as some kind of artist or some kind of public figure, and you said, "I'm not okay with having a gay child," you getting fucked up.
Rappers are like the last group that are kind of just given this grace to be real people. Maybe not the last, but like one of the last. Comedians, you could say, is the same thing. Where like, a rapper could smoke a blunt on camera and talk about how they were on a Percocet the other night and talk about how they fucked 10 girls or whatever. And that's not really even viewed as like all that out of the ordinary. And in almost every other walk of life, that's just like not happening. A rapper, a comedian, I was on Legion of Skanks and Louis J. Gomez is just sitting there taking dabs while he's fucking sitting there doing the podcast. There's not a lot of walks of life where that would really be allowed besides rap, comedy, and maybe some other stuff I'm not thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to be in a professional setting, I don't think you can do that. But I think if people found out you were doing drugs and you were like a lawyer, like most people would not care because a lot of lawyers do drugs. They don't really care that deeply.
But if it was exposed publicly, then it would become a big deal. If you got arrested for cocaine as a lawyer, that's a big deal. Whereas a bunch of lawyers doing cocaine, because it seems so unlikely that a white fucking lawyer or like a high class lawyer is going to get caught doing cocaine. It just doesn't really happen like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you know anything about these politicians, they all doing crazy sex parties and like DC.
Elon Musk, bro. Heard he was in a cuddle puddle.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, when you
done the cuddle puddle?
Yeah, no, I don't know about the cuddle puddle.
Oh, it's like a Silicon Valley type thing, like all these tech entrepreneurs or whatever. There'll be a party and like a bunch of guys, girls, whatever. They'll all just lay together and sort of have this like big kind of non-sexual cuddle. Bro. And I was thinking, like,
yeah, that's crazy. Imagine you just rub it up against a bra.
Exactly.
Then you feel some skin on your back, and it's a dude. Like, bro, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You're rubbing up on your girl. You look behind you. It's Mark Zuckerberg, and he's got you little spooned. But I was thinking,
and you touch the skin, you realize the motherfucker's a cyborg. Bro.
The ratio of guys to girls would need to be so strong for me to want to take part, and then I still the whole time would be thinking like, my leg's not rubbing against some dude's bald head or anything, right?
We're not doing that. Cuddle puddle, bro.
Yo, we just hit 400,000 subscribers right here on the Clips channel. So if you want to help us out, click subscribe, get us to 500K. Yeah.